This is a review that you're going to want to watch because the Santa Cruz is really quite different from anything else out there. Let's get to this. Cars and trucks have been around for well over a century. There's little automakers can do to make them truly different. Hyundai is giving it a go with the 2022 Santa Cruz, classified as an SUV by the EPA. If you're thinking this is geared towards the pickup faithful,
No, that one, no.
Hyundai is adamant that it is not a pickup and isn't meant to compete in that space. It claims people in focus groups coined the sport adventure vehicle moniker, awfully close to BMW's sport activity vehicle tag. Other than these Easter egg-clad fender flares, up to the front doors, it resembles the Tucson it shares an architecture with, right down to these Trek DRLs. The wheelbase is lengthened by 10 inches. Santa Cruz is 13.5 inches longer than its pure crossover sibling. There's a lot of chatter that this is competition for the Honda Ridgeline, which is a much larger vehicle. Santa Cruz is some 14 inches shorter, 3.5 inches narrower, and 4 inches lower. Dimensionally, it's closer to the upcoming Ford Maverick. And even then, Santa Cruz is 4 inches shorter.
Maverick, I think, is going to be a little bit of a different type of product, right? Ford's been doing trucks for well over 100 years now, right? You're going to find a different buyer base comparing Maverick to our Santa Cruz.
Subaru's Baja was not a huge success. Hyundai believes buyers are different now and has applied its own secret sauce gleaned from loads of focus groups. Designed, engineered, and built in the US, Santa Cruz is the brand's first specific North American model. This guy seems to be very excited about it.
I'm just simply amazed.
More on that later. I'm at a press event in Northern California. All vehicles on hand are fully loaded all-wheel drive limited models. Pricing starts at just over $25,000. In premium sage green paint, my tester is $41,400. There are two engines. The 2.5-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder makes 191 horsepower and 181 pound-feet of torque. It can be had with front or all-wheel drive for $1,500 and is connected to a traditional 8-speed automatic transmission. We're driving the 2.5-liter Turbo 4 that pumps out 281 horses and 311 pound-feet, a significant upgrade from the base engine. The turbo shifts with an 8-speed dual-clutch tranny that has a silky lever feel, plus it adds paddle shifters, again available with front or all-wheel drive. There are the usual Hyundai drive modes, which make a noticeable difference when it comes to steering weight, throttle response, and transmission mapping, plus the infographics. So let's get on the road. Starting out here in Palo Alto, home of Stanford University, and driving to... Any guesses? What's the name of the vehicle? Yeah. It takes about an hour to get out to the coast, so there's time to shake the Santa Cruz down. Driving dynamics, the steering is a little on the light side, but it tracks straight and true. No micro corrections. This is good for the highway. The suspension is set a bit on the soft side, though nothing sloppy overall. It sort of drives like a Tucson, but if I remember correctly, this one is actually a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, seriously. It's extremely car-like, so owners will have no issues traveling to distant hiking trails. The seating height is elevated, but just a bit. You won't be getting altitude sickness here. Engineers added firewall insulation and did a lot to keep the cabin hushed. The wind flows softly over the windshield, so not much wind noise, and very little road noise. Santa Cruz is actually pretty quiet. I'm kind of surprised. Hardly a pickup experience. It drives more like a luxury crossover. Efficiency-wise, with all-wheel drive, there's not a huge difference between the naturally aspirated 4 and turbo engine that has an EPA-rated average of 22 miles per gallon. Comparing apples to pears, four-wheel drive pickups like Nissan Frontier and Toyota Tacoma average 19 to 20. This is built on the same architecture as Tucson, so I asked the engineers on hand whether it would get the hybrid or plug-in hybrid powertrains, and I, of course, got the answer. We don't comment on future product, of course. Built on a crossover architecture, you might be wondering about off-road prowess, so let's hit the trails. Okay, I'm just pulling to the side of the road. There's 8.6 inches of ground clearance. It's meant for light off-roading, rough Forest Service roads at best. Stopped to get a few shots. Santa Cruz got a lot of curious looks and some thumbs up. Keith, on a bike trip along the coast, pulled over for a hard look.
Oh, I'm just ecstatic.
He will be my focus group of one.
So what do you think? There's nothing really quite like this.
No, it's unique. It's just gorgeous. Most of all, it's really hard to find a pickup sport utility. We had other models in the past, like the Ford Sport Track.
Seems pretty smitten, even though it won't haul his bike.
Oh, it has a locking tailgate, and you can open it without retracting the tonneau cover.
There you have it. Keith approved, at the very least.
I would put an order in. If you're looking for one, I would get busy with that.
Really, I think Hyundai sent you, man.
Probably so.
I need to keep moving.
On average, Santa Cruz weighs about 4,100 pounds with all-wheel drive. So if you want to scoot, you want the turbo engine, and it does move.
It'll dash to 60 miles an hour in about 6 seconds and does it with refinement.
This Limited is equipped with highway driving assist, which is one of the better mainstream semi-autonomous driving systems that you can get. It stays straight and true within the lines. It doesn't bounce around. It takes gentle corners very confidently and follows the car ahead down to a complete stop. Good stuff.
A self-leveling rear suspension is standard. The all-wheel drive Turbo 4 models can tow up to 5,000 pounds, not bad. Visibility is great forward. The thick C-pillar and small back window reduce things rearward, so this blind spot camera system that's operated by the turn signals is a big help. The flicker is from the GoPro.
There are so many active safety features on the Santa Cruz, I really can't list them all, so I'm putting them in a graphic down there. You can just read them while I enjoy my drive up the coastline. It's beautiful here. See? An awful lot. All right? You done? Let's continue.
Santa Cruz is meant for urbanites running chores and escaping to the wilderness with toys like this. The lockable tonneau cover transforms the vehicle. It's not available on the base SE. I consider it a must-have. With it, Santa Cruz arguably functions much like a sedan with a retractable deck lid. The bed, with board slots to create a second level, is 52 inches long, about a foot shorter than Ridgeline's, 2 inches shorter than Maverick. Adjust the tailgate, and it's possible to haul 4x8 sheets of plywood or sheetrock. Just remember to bring straps. Hyundai already has a number of accessories like this bed extender. FYI, the bed wall is fixed. It can't be folded down. There are storage areas in back for small things and tie-downs. This adjustable cleat system is optional. Standard is this watertight in-bed mini trunk, probably the reason why people compare this to Ridgeline. And yes, it does have drain plugs, so feel free to party off the back of the Santa Cruz. Loading at nights, you're covered there. And finally, someone other than General Motors thinks this bumper step is a great idea.
The Hyundai folks say the tonneau cover is heavily water resistant, so if you're using a pressure washer, it might leak a little bit and can support around 200 pounds, but they don't want me stepping on it. I asked.
The interior is lifted in full from Tucson. It's airy, stylish, and urbane. Have to wonder if there wasn't a missed opportunity to give it a more rugged REI vibe. These cloth accents look like they came off a men's blazer, not a North Face parka. The gauge display has no hood, it doesn't need one. And normally I don't like touch-sensitive control surfaces, but these are responsive. Would highly prefer a volume knob though. Speaking of, the 8-speaker Bose system is good. I expect more vibrancy from a top-spec system. Door releases mold to your digits when opening. They feel good. Wireless charging? Check. Standard wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay? Check. Vented and heated seats and heated wheel? On Limited, those are standard. The seats are supportive too, at least during the 3 hours I drove along the coast. Vents are designed for a diffused, draft-free output. The usual cubbies and center console storage are here to take on adventure gear. The glove box is decent-sized. Door pockets are on the small side. So is the sunroof compared to Tucson's panoramic glass. Hyundai's user interface starts with snappy touch response. Graphics are clear and attractive. It's all laid out well, too.
Evil Twin isn't invited to Hyundai events anymore after that incident with the truck full of Alka-Seltzer and the swimming pool, so I will be showing you the back seat. I'm 5'9". My feet are size 11, which have a little bit of trouble getting in, but once inside, head, knee, leg, and foot room are certainly adequate. The cushions are high enough so that thigh support is good. Again, the door openings are a little bit on the narrow side, but getting car seats in and out shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's storage and a nice cup holder up high, but no door pocket. My picky brother will be happy that there are pockets on both seat backs. Phones can be charged, that's good. The floor is relatively flat. There are vents. You could get 3 smaller adults across. One thing though, there is no folding armrest. Let me get out of the way. The seat backs might be a little bit upright, but it's really not that bad. The seats don't recline, but they do flip up. Part of the storage here is taken up by the jack, but the other side is wide open. Overall, Santa Cruz, pretty useful. You could put tools here.
There are all sorts of digital features like Phone is Key technology, Hyundai's BlueLink system, and from inside your house using a smart speaker, Alexa can start the car and set a specific cabin temperature. These features aren't very visual, and I only have so much time at events. Now, after spending a day with the Santa Cruz, loading my gear in and out, I'm convinced it's very practical. This pickup crossover mashup can be the best of all worlds, or a poor compromise. It just depends on your mindset, if you see the glass half full or half empty. At the very least, it will fit easily into a garage where some pickups won't. Let's get to red light, green light. Green lights. There's something about Santa Cruz that transcends its specifications. It drives like a refined, comfortable car, but effortlessly works like, well, not a pickup, but an open trunk vehicle for hauling big loads from, say, IKEA. It looks great in person. The aggressive wedgie attitude and cab-to-bed proportions will grab your eye the first time you see one. Hyundai says it's not competing with pickups, but the bed has the steps, tie-downs, storage spaces, and lighting that are in some ways better than traditional rigs. Finally, standard and available tech, both safety and connectivity, is especially well done in Santa Cruz. Yellow lights? That flexible bed is useful, but some buyers will simply see it as too small. Know your needs. The back seat can take your friends to the trailhead. Its seat back might be a bit upright for some, and large feet can get caught up in the door openings. The sophisticated cockpit is attractive, but changing up the City Slicker trim for something more rugged would complement the vibe of the exterior. Red light. None of these are deal breakers, but fuel economy isn't much better than a mid-sized body-on-frame pickup. It's only intended for light off-roading. Not sure if there are plans for a beefier setup with skid plates and such. My tester's 41 grand sticker price is about the same as a loaded Nissan Frontier pickup that I just tested, so do some careful shopping in comparison. Like any vehicle, it's important to assess your wants and needs and do a lot of comparison and test driving. Thing is, as it stands, Santa Cruz is in a category of one. There's nothing quite like it, even once its closest competitor, Ford Maverick, arrives.
Now really, I don't root for any kind of vehicle, but I hope this succeeds because Hyundai has done something different. We need more niche products like this.
Keith certainly thinks so.
Oh, they're going to sell a lot of this vehicle.
Proudly different, Santa Cruz surfs a tricky crossover pickup balance. It'll be interesting to see if Hyundai catches the perfect wave. When the production Santa Cruz was announced, I said it was a modern-day El Camino or Ranchero, and I stand by that assessment. People, things evolve, and if those would have continued on, they would have changed. Their car chassis would have switched to front drive, and most pickups these days have 4 doors, so there you go. That said, car companies have never been wildly successful with this form factor. Remember, there was the Dodge Rampage, Plymouth Scamp Twins, and the Volkswagen Rabbit-based pickup. Those are gone. Same with Ford Explorer Sport Track and Subaru Baja. And speaking to some of the Hyundai executives, this project was on again, off again, so I get the impression there's a leap of faith here.
Well, that's my take on the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's a really neat rig. There's nothing quite like it. Now, normally at the end, I give you a fun fact. This time, it's more of an observation. Santa Cruz is not available in bright colors like yellow, orange, red, or even bright blue. They're all earth tones, plus black and white. So if you want something that really stands out, you might have to wait a couple model years. Anyways, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.